channel, fool. And now let's dive deep in the Matrix.
You know, I think part of why Kamala is getting so much support is that if Trump wins, that Epstein client list is going to become public.
Yes.
And some of those billionaires behind Kamala are terrified of that outcome.
Yeah. Do you think Reid Hoffman's uncomfortable?
Yes.
Yeah.
And Gates.
And Gates.
Yeah.
And I only ask that because you just look at them and you're like, that's a nervous person right there. I don't know. I mean, I assume you know them. Yeah.
Yes. Reid Hoffman was my vice president of business development at PayPal.
Yeah.
24 years ago.
Does he seem nervous to you?
Yeah, I mean, he's terrified of a Trump victory.
Because of the disclosure that would follow?
I think he's certainly ideologically not aligned with Trump anyway, but I think he is concerned about the Epstein situation.
Let the elite roast begin. How would you like your chicken cooked? Me? Extra crispy, please.
New York is really a movie. Look at this guy on a city bike balancing a whole couch on his head. You gotta admit, that's impressive.
New York, New York. You can't make that shit up. Can someone do something, please?
Kind of initiation, commencement, whatever it is, where they really scrutinize you and they hear your voice and they see you and they interview you and they decide.
Well, this year I think I'm just going to keep it simple. I do these elaborate things every year. I go, all over the place. I do, it's always so busy. So I just wanted to keep it real. I think I'm going over to Puff Daddy's house.
Really, that's just a nice sort of chestnuts roasting.
Beautiful. Very
really
beautiful.
Nice atmosphere there.
Amazing. Bing Crosby playing.
Can you get us in?
Or is it Bill Cosby?
I don't know.
I don't know. Bing Crosby, Bill Cosby.
No one knows anymore.
I get mixed up.
Not one of them died of cancer. They died of liver failure. They died of cardiac failure, renal failure, all due to chemotherapy. We got a patient that had been through chemo and radiation, and they had cooked her liver and cooked her kidneys. We looked at the blood work and realized she had no organ function to speak of left. And I said, we can make her more comfortable, but the radiation treatment that they used on her has actually destroyed her organs. So we did what we could. She'd been given 3 weeks, we gave her 6 months. And she got time to say goodbye to her family. But I remember walking into the office the morning after she passed, and this internist was sitting on the waiting room couch. And I said, what's the problem? And she looked at me and she said, I'm doing the death certificate and I don't know what to write for cause of death. I said, you might try writing the truth for a change. And she said, you know how much trouble I can get in by doing that? I said, if you're going to study with me, you're going to write the truth. And she wrote radiation poisoning, cause of death. She's the only doctor I've ever seen do that. She actually had the courage to tell the truth.
And remember, the best way to reduce the risk of needing chemo is still through a healthy diet.
Man, he was a Russian mystic, whatever you want to call him, Gurdjieff. One thing he taught his students was to not vent your unpleasant emotions. So he had this exercise called self-observation, where you're to go observe yourself in the most deepest way, not just your thoughts, but about your body and how your body and your mind interact in this insane continual blend. There's no separation. So one kind of thought will affect your body, but a feeling in your gut will affect your thinking. And he said you will discover in observing yourself that most of your thoughts revolve around unpleasant emotions. So most of it is dealing with frustration, resentment, anger, bitterness. And he said, look at those emotions, see them, do not judge them, do not say they're bad or good or whatever, and don't ever talk about them. Don't vent them to people. You can look at them, but don't talk about them. And the people who experience it go, whoa, by not talking about them, they start to go away.
So basically, don't overthink it. Let go of the emotions holding you back.
Interesting finding of the last decade in all of science. When you contract your muscles, They literally secrete these proteins into your bloodstream that make you resilient to stress and can protect you from depression. The scientists called them hope molecules. This idea that your muscles are manufacturing antidepressant molecules, and the only way to get them into your bloodstream is you have to contract your muscles. It's like a pharmacy in your muscles, and anything you do that contracts them, walking, hiking, running, dancing, weightlifting, like swimming, anything, you are going to be dumping hope molecules into your bloodstream. They also help people recover from trauma. That's like a miracle, because of course it's wonderful when medications work for you, but for so many people, medications don't do the full job in terms of helping with mental health. And the idea that your muscles could provide you with the equivalent of something like an antidepressant medication, I think it's phenomenal.
To free the mind, you gotta free the body first. Time to hit that gym hard, fam.
Whole Earth is going to go through an activation where we will have powers similar to superheroes. This is why superhero films got so popular. They're prophetic of what's going to be available to us. So they've had the Roswell stuff going back since 1947. They've had over 75 years to develop this into technology. They've had in-person interaction with ETs. And there's also evil extraterrestrials like reptilians and greys, insectoids, and certain types of tall white-skinned humans. And that agenda is actually a planetary conquering agenda. They want to come to a planet, and it turns out that the basic thing that these evil beings want is to create Satanism. And this is one of the most fascinating things I only learned in 2021 from new briefings, that anywhere these beings go, any planet they go in our galaxy, they're going to create pentagrams, they're going to create ritual magic, they're going to have people wear robes, they're going to have people wearing face masks, burning candles, chanting to this very real artificial intelligence that we think of as Satan. It actually does exist. There is a satanic AI that has become essentially like a soul. It's got its own unique abilities, and it can appear as a human being, which apparently it does in a base in Antarctica called Lucifer's Palace. If you go in there, it's very amazing. There's no other building like it on Earth. You really feel that this would be the entity that controls the planet, and this being will consolidate into a human form and appear that way in front of you. So what I'm saying is that your typical Aleister Crowley type of Satanism, where there is, all these things I mentioned, the robes, the candles, the chanting, the masks, the pentagram, and of course the sacrifice. That's the most disgusting part about it, is that you're committing the most heinous atrocity imaginable. But if you do it right, you apparently see, there's some people, not everybody, if you have, I don't know exactly how it works. Maybe younger people see it more easily, but there's a hallucination effect that occurs. They're imbibing certain types of drugs in these ceremonies, and you hallucinate something that is very real, which is this demonic creature that appears. And so you can go back and look at the foundation of NASA, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, or Jack Parsons Laboratory. Jack Parsons was working with Aleister Crowley and the founder of Scientology, L. Ron Hubbard, and they did something called the Babylon Working, where they summoned this being. And so inside your magic circle that you draw, if you do it right, you're going to see this creature show up. And it's visible to you. And they can't talk, but they can make these horrific noises that sound like a screeching animal. And they come in and they do atrocities. They do atrocities on the victim that you prepared for them. That's why it's called an offering. You offer them a victim, and they then terminate that individual. So this is a weird magic trick. It's something we're all going to have to deal with pretty soon, because the military is going to hit us with this on a mass level. We're all going to have to deal with the fact that the devil is real, Satan is real, demons are real. If you do this stuff, which again, these extraterrestrial aliens are bringing this to every planet they can, and it's always the same. It's the pentagram, it's the mask, it's the candles, it's the chanting, it's the robes, it's mind control. Another really weird thing about this is there's actually probably millions of people just in America who went through this stuff as children, and they have absolutely no memory of it at all. Why? Because the hypnosis system they use, colloquially called MK Ultra, mind control, control with a K, that's a German form of saying it, it works really well. And if you get bumped out of the group because you didn't perform properly, like for example, if you start screaming and crying during these ceremonies, you can hurt the demon. The demon cannot do what it needs to do unless everybody is stoical and keeps looking at it. You have to not look away, and you have to not scream, and you have to not cry. Somebody starts crying, somebody starts screaming, the demon can get very badly hurt. So you have to find people who are willing to do that. So most of the time, the way that people end up getting kicked out is that they have emotional breakdowns, and they start crying, and they hurt the demon, and then they get kicked out. Well, guess what? You're all zipped up. You never remember anything. But when you were a child, you get hypnotized, You get brought into these things, they give you amnesic drugs, you can't remember what happened to you, but yet you're always traumatized. Your whole life has various aspects of trauma associated with it. People in the inside Area 51 community were dazzled when I came out with my first book here, which again is right behind me, Source Field Investigations, New York Times bestseller. Came out, it had, we sold very well. It was pretty amazing. You don't really make much money writing books, but it was still amazing. Led to me getting on Ancient Aliens, gave me credibility, has over 1,000 academic references. That's very hard to do. PhD dissertation is typically 120 to 150 references. That book has over 1,000 academic references in it. And you can go read it for yourself, you can go look it up. That's why my work stands on very solid ground. This is not snake oil, this is not con artist. This is bona fide advanced research that caught the attention of Uncle. And that would be your Area 51 community.
You already know what I'm about to ask you. What superpower do you want and why? Don't be shy and leave a comment.
Hi, Mr. Rivera. I'm here to put your anesthesia to put you to sleep for your surgery. Okay. Let me see your hand. Okay.
Oh, I was kicking in already. You gotta go fast.
Yeah, just go ahead and put your head back. You should be asleep any second now and be ready for your sex change surgery.
I'm not here for no sex change surgery. I'm here for a weight loss surgery. No, wait. Wait. Wait, no.
He got depressed before passing out. Homie was fighting hard.
Joe, were you kidnapped in Africa? Was
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
How much you had to give up for ransom?
Nobody been to Africa more than Fat Joe. Nobody.
And you keep going back?
Nobody. Yeah, I kept going back. But that was just one part. It was in, and I love you guys, Luanda, Angola, Africa. They had this warlord, his name is Regrowing. Regrowing, when they stopped fighting the Civil War, they made him the leader of tourism. Mm-hmm. So it's his job to bring people to Angola. We don't know none of that shit. We get hired to go do a show for the most money I ever made in my life. I go over there, the man don't let us leave. So we supposed to go for one show. We stuck over there for like 2 weeks. And this guy is so scary, they won't look him in his eyes. When they serve him, they go like this. The people there know who the hell he is. So a week later, the embassy or the CIA or whoever you call is sitting down because you eat, and they got one good hotel, right? And so you eat like buffet style. Right. So they come over and they the feds. You look and they look different, they this and this and that. So they come over and give me a card. And they're like, yo, you all right? And I said, yeah, I'm all right. Why? They was like, you know who you with, right? They said, this guy just kidnapped DMX too. This guy kidnapped people. You were a scary guy. I said, I'm figuring it out. He said, you call this number at any time. We'll come pick you up at the parking garage and go out. And I'm like, I'm too tough about it. So I ain't want to let him know, yo, I'm ready to go now. I'm really fucking kidnapped now. Like, this guy's playing with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm tough. Shannon, I'm not scared of no man. I'm not scared of no man. I'm scared of God. Right. I just don't know how to be scared of a man. You're going to kill me, kill me. You're going to beat me up. So I had that. Busta Rhymes was in there. Yo. It's like, yo, this guy's talking to me like this. I'm like, yo, Bust, this guy, this guy kill people out here. We over here, man. We can't just chill, take it easy, Bust. Because Bust is one of them, like, Bust is a nice guy, but he bug out. You know what I mean? So I'm talking him off the cliff, like, yo, Bust, like, chill, like, we could disappear and this motherfucker never make it back.
So he let you go?
We eventually, he let us go. Like, that's real talk. Like, we eventually, like 2 weeks later, he let us go, and we finally went home. And I made more money than I ever made in my life, but it was real stressful.
These stories are getting crazier and crazier. But what did you expect when you take money from a warlord?
Come sit by him.
That's crazy.
Try to pet him.
No, that motherfucker got the big ass dick on him. You.
These three guys figured out how to regrow teeth using frequency. The problem is, this was in 2006. It's 2024 now. Where's this technology? So they basically use something called low-intensity pulsed ultrasound, massages the gums to stimulate the jaws, and encourages growth in the roots of the teeth and aids healing in dental tissue. This guy claims if the root is broken, it can now be fixed, and because we can regrow the teeth root, a patient could have his own tooth rather than foreign objects in his mouth. Keep in mind, though, this would disrupt the industry of fillings, root canals, just about every damn near dental procedure that there is. The way they figured out this worked before they tried it on humans was that they did it on rabbits, which was published in the American Journal of Orthodontics. He then tested the technique on people who needed to get their teeth pulled. Participants held the bulky ultrasound device for 20 minutes a day for 4 weeks against a tooth that had a problem, such as erosion after a root canal. When he looked at the extracted teeth under the microscope, he found new tissue was added to the roots of the treated teeth, but not to the untreated ones. It's just interesting that we don't hear anything about this. It's been so long. I wonder if this is an example of suppressed technologies.
Are they still breathing?
A partial autopsy has found former One Direction singer Liam Payne had several substances, including pink cocaine, in his system when he fell to his death in his hotel in Argentina. So what is pink cocaine? Thank you again for joining us here on ABC 7, Hulu, and wherever you stream. I'm Colleen Sullivan, in for David Ono.
I'm Ellen Leva. Pink cocaine has also been mentioned in one of the civil lawsuits against Sean Diddy Combs. So what exactly is pink cocaine?
Eyewitness News reporter Leticia Juarez spoke to law enforcement and public health officials to find out what the drug is and what it does to the body.
Having no regrets. A partial autopsy revealed former One Direction singer Liam Payne had multiple substances in his system when he plunged to his death from a third-floor balcony in Buenos Aires, Argentina. Toxicology results show he had a mix of drugs, including one called pink cocaine.
The first piece that we almost always see in pink or pink cocaine is ketamine, a dissociative drug, something that makes people feel like they're detached from reality. The second component is a psychedelic.
Bill Bodner is a former DEA agent. He says despite its name, oftentimes there is no cocaine in the toxic mix of drugs, which includes synthetics like ecstasy, methamphetamine, and benzodiazepines. The drug, also known as 2C, acts as both a stimulant and a depressant.
Very, very cheap to make. And they can kind of tailor the drug to what the drug user is looking for, the perceived effects that the drug user is looking for.
Pink cocaine got its start in Latin American nightclubs as a party drug. Recently, it was linked to Sean Diddy Combs in a lawsuit filed by his former music producer, Rodney Jones. He alleges it was required all employees, from the butler, the chef to the housekeepers, to walk around with a pouch or fanny pack filled with cocaine, GHB, ecstasy, marijuana gummies, and 2C, a pink drug that is a combination of ecstasy and cocaine. But like any drug, there are several dangerous side effects on the body and the user's perception of reality.
One of the things around mixtures such as this is people's behavior might become unpredictable and they might do things that they wouldn't have otherwise done.
The drug is also a possible factor in Payne's behavior in the minutes leading up to the 31-year-old's death. Pink cocaine is taking hold in the U.S. and has law enforcement and public health officials warning that the designer drug has a target audience.
If you've used it before and it went okay, there's an assumption that if you use it again, it will always be okay. And that's just not true.
At this point, we're just going to blame him for everything. So, hey, whatever happens to you, it's Diddy.
Sat in the front seat of this aircraft. It is a two-seater. It is for training and aerobatics. And this is the very aircraft that Trump used during the training, selected by Tom Cruise himself for Top Gun Maverick. Ladies and gentlemen, everything. We are waiting for our announcement here. I'd like for everyone to stay, and we will be sending a truck out to check on Chuck. We have the fire department on the stand with us. We are rolling trucks. Ladies and gentlemen, again, we have fire and rescue on the way.
Corrected that stall, but he didn't have enough altitude.
Make music for a purpose. It's not just background music, or it's not just, you know, fluffy, light stuff.
This is not elevator satanic music.
No.
It's ritualistic music. It is music that by even the act of listening to it, you are participating in a satanic ritual. By listening to, so if I put this on and listen to it, I'm participating. But I'm just, you're a listener. I'm asking you, how does it make you feel?
It's very stirring. It's very emotionally charged. You can't listen to this music and say you don't feel something, because you do. I'm sure you would probably feel either hate or fear or rage or something.
I just want to rock. Ba-da-ya-ya. It's in my brain. Do you know that? It's living rent free. I can't get it out. You did that.
Yeah, it's hypnosis. Yeah, it's hypnosis.
And they keep telling us, guys, but who's gonna listen?
They set the trial for 5-5-25. They know they don't have a chance in hell with their client winning. They trying to go and use other ways of not this trial not going to court, bro. They not going to trial. They trying to use all the ways possible for this trial not to go to, this court case not to go to trial. And that's one of them. Yo, that's funny, man. I got to look at those numbers, man, because those numbers, it has to be something that may be some spiritual ramification. 5-5-25. I got to ask my man BX Murder what those numbers is. He's into that spiritual realm, and he knows that those numbers mean something, man. 5-5-25. I guess we're going to have to see when that come up, man. We're going to see when they try to present that to the courts and everything, would that work? But I heard that they had made an injunction where that nobody's supposed to speak about the trial. Nobody, either defense or the prosecutor, supposed to speak about the trial in the public and in the public eye.
And someone got to ask GG33, what does it mean? Because that's numerology. And come back here in the comments.
You don't eat beef or pork? I don't eat beef. Pork is just, bad for you. It's unhealthy, and I think when beef, I stopped eating beef probably 7 years ago, probably more than that. Really? Yeah. I had back problems, and I was like, man, my back was just hurting so bad, and I didn't know what it was. So I went to the hospital. I went to the emergency. And so they did the MRI and CAT scan and stuff like that on my back. And I had backed up shit all up my back. What? Backed up Really? That was what was hurting your back? All beef. So since I cut out the beef, because they said beef is harder to digest and harder for your body to break down. So I stopped eating beef, and I ain't never had none of them issues ever again. That's crazy. I've never heard anything like that. Yeah.
Just try this experiment. Stop eating beef for 2 weeks and come back here.
I believe that based on my research and some of the research of others is that the human brain doesn't create consciousness. It downloads it. And I believe there's a constant stream of consciousness coming into each and every sentient being and every soul that exists throughout the entire universe, even the multiverse. That there's only one actual radio station that's broadcasting this frequency. I'm 99.1, you're 99.2, so forth and so on. And so we're picking up a point number of the frequency. So your avatar body is attuned to pick up .2. I'm .1, for example, right? Hypothetically. So I'm picking up a specific frequency that my body is attuned to allow my spirit energy, which is still yours, still together, but just slightly off frequency, to inhabit it. Now, why is this? I believe that the universe itself is imbued with divine energy that has split itself into Googles of entities so it can experience itself subjectively through many different life forms. Not even just life forms, but even as atoms in this microphone, because the atoms in this microphone have electrons, and those electrons make conscious decisions based on observation. So that means even the atoms in this microphone are conscious, which means that everything's actually conscious. So this entire realm, to me, is a data collection proving ground where our souls are here to experience this realm, to collect information and send it back to the source.
We all here for the experience, not even to learn anything. Why would you have the windows rolled down? Hey, some of them tried to stand on business and still got smacked.
4th of 2024, a video was taken inside a public restroom where something pretty creepy took place. The man who recorded this is known as Axel Loza, and based on his voice alone, you can tell that he's deeply troubled by something.
No, te quiero que vean. Estoy ahorita en el baño de la universidad. Pero el pedo ahorita es que acabo de terminar de hacer el baño. Y pues estaba todo normal. Pero ahorita están ruidos raros y se está tocando la puerta, pero quiero que vean que pues no hay nada. Vean, ahí está mi reflejo, pero vean de este lado, pues aquí no hay nada, vean. Acá tampoco, vean. Aquí tampoco hay nada. Aquí pues tampoco, vean. Y acá el lugar es bastante pequeño y está mi reflejo. Pero a ver, hoy. ¿Escucharon? ¿Escucharon? No hay nada.
Like something out of a nightmare, a pale face with wide open eyes just disappears without a trace.
These bathrooms are creepy as hell. If you've watched Silent Hill, these exactly the same bathrooms. And this is exactly how Didi's pregame starts.
So this right here is the Bible from 1775 telling us at the time that we used to have 13 months. The first month of the year is March. Look at all the way to the end, guys. There's 13 months. 13 months. First day of the week, Sunday. Second day, Monday. Look at that. Seventh day or Sabbath, Saturday. This is the proof right here.
One of the things Constantine did was because he wanted the pagans to worship God, Jehovah, was he moved the day of worship to the day of the sun, which is why we now worship on Sunday. Because Sunday became a pagan day. Well, another thing Constantine did was move the day of Jesus' birth to December, because Tammuz died on December 23rd. And it was believed, because Nimrod, his father, was a hunter, it was believed that Nimrod would be reborn in his son Tammuz. And his son Tammuz's birthday was December 25th. And what you would do on Tammuz's birthday was you would set up a tree. Deuteronomy 16:21. You shall not plant for yourself any tree as a wooden image near the altar which you build for yourself to the Lord your God. It was believed that in order for Tammuz to rise again as his son Nimrod, you'd have to go to the tree, you'd have to cut down a tree from the forest, and you'd have to put balls on it. And the balls were symbolic of testicles. The tree was symbolic of a phallus. Jeremiah chapter 10. Look what it says. Hear the word which the Lord speaks to you, O house of Israel. Thus saith the Lord, Do not learn the way of the Gentiles. Do not be dismayed at the signs of the heaven, for the Gentiles are dismayed at them. For the customs of the people are futile. For one cuts a tree from the forest, the work of the hands of the workmen with an axe. They decorate it with silver and gold. They fasten it with nails and hammers so that it will not topple. I hate to bring you bad news.
Young woman on her morning run. She makes a turn, jogging towards this alley. Then a security camera catches this.
This is malicious fecal distribution. She's come back multiple times.
At least 4 times, Bobby says. He has no idea who she is and why his home has become her personal toilet. Bobby says she always strikes on weekend mornings. In fact, his security cameras caught her once again this past Saturday.
I saw this little blonde girl running down the street, and I was like, oh my God, that's got to be her.
Unsure, Bobby left his home and did some errands. When he came back, the evidence was there.
This is calculated. Look, I'm dropping my pants as I'm running.
He's hoping this story makes whoever the culprit is stop once and for all.
If it happens again, I want to run out there with the hose and hose her down and say, bad human.
Now, Bobby has not called police and made a complaint. He says he's not sure if police will take this seriously. We reached out to APD. It's possible if this woman is caught, she could be charged with a misdemeanor for public nuisance or disorderly conduct.
What can you do? Some of us are just mentally sick.
On a whole family of them. Bro, I done found a whole family of them. And they the rainbow colors, look. That's on the ground, y'all. This deep. Them the rainbow lights I be seeing in the sky. That's deep. Hey, I seen enough. I seen enough. I seen enough. Ooh, and I see you too. Colorful one.
They want to make sure you know they're here.
Panelists, what percent of our atmosphere is CO2?
Repeat that question.
What percent of our atmosphere is CO2, carbon dioxide?
About 5%.
5?
We'll go 7. I'll see their 5 and suggest that we know that transportation causes 49% of CO2, so that's why we're all working on energy transition.
All right. So what number do you think it is?
5.
5? Do you have one, Mr. Boyd?
So we got a 5, 7, 8. We'll get the high end.
All right. The answer is 0.04%. Not 1%, not half of a percent. It's 0.04%. It's gone up from 0.03 in the last couple of decades. This is what we're being all contorted into doing, is this tiny change in CO2. If we get below 0.02, plant life starts dying.
Is climate change the biggest hoax in history?
What happened to all the Anunnaki and Thoth and all them?
They had 2 wars. The first Pyramid War almost eradicated them, but they started over again. The second Pyramid War, bad. That one almost decimated the planet. You see how when you look at Earth, like from Google Earth, you see a lot of those big deserts going across. People say, oh, that's just natural geological formations over time. This has become an arid desert. No, that's war. If you go to Egypt and stick your hand deep in the sands, eventually you're going to come up with balls of glass. How can you get glass and sand? 3,000 plus degree temperatures. You go to Mohenjo-Daro in the Indus Valley, what are you going to see there? Dead bodies still in the streets from thousands of years ago, still holding hands, never been scavenged. The buildings that they lived in turned to glass. How can that be? We're talking about 3,000 plus degree temperature weapons fire. We're talking about this war that happened in the ancient past. Amun-Ra wanted to continue he started the first war to take over the earth early because he didn't want to wait for his processional period to rule. And then this is the guy who says, you must say amen after everything. Say amen. Everything you give thanks for, you're saying amen to him. So when you say amen, you're thanking him, by the way. A brutal killing guy. But anyway, so he says it's a fact. He started one war to take over early, which he won.
Yeah.
He then started a second war to stay in power. And in that second war, he escaped. He was almost killed, but he left his kingship and the finances of the kingdom to the Ra-Kam, and R-A-K-A-M. But that translates into modern words. Kam translates into childs. So now you translate Ra, childs, Ra, child.
Lord Jamar is a flat earther, everyone. Why are you a flat earther, sir?
Because it's ridiculous to think that someone can live on a ball, to think that water could wrap itself around a spinning ball, to think that people could be on the bottom of a ball and be upside down because some magical thing called gravity is allowing it to happen.
So the water should be pouring into space then.
Everything should be pulled into space, into the so-called vacuum of space if there's no covering. If we have no covering, our atmosphere, our waters, everything should be sucked into
So you think we're in a dome?
Absolutely. Although, see, here's the thing.
You never heard this shit, huh?
Hey.
Explain.
Here's the thing, right? There's certain things that they don't allow you to explore, right? So there's certain things that I can't prove. I can't go. I'm not allowed to go up there and touch this. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
So this is only what I can surmise, especially from thousands of years, because only 500 years ago did they come with this whole heliocentric model. All the different civilizations prior to that knew that we lived on a level plane. Okay, water always finds its what?
Level.
Exactly. Water always needs a what? A container. You see?
Yeah.
I can't have this drink on the outside of my cup. It must be on the inside of my cup. It must have a container. Okay? So there's no way that water could just stick to the outside of a spinning ball. Think about it.
Right.
Where's the 1,000-mile-an-hour? Because it's supposed to be going
on an axis. And it's on an axis.
So listen, not just the ball that's like this. It's a ball like supposedly like this, and that axis also equals to 666. But that's some
what?
That's some whole other.
What the?
Yes, sir.
Axis of evil.
Anyway, so now you're on an axis, and then you supposedly have land masses that are going on the top, on the side, and on the down under, right? They call it down under for a reason.
Right.
So do you believe that people are upside down right now in Australia, and that rain goes up instead of down? It rains up in Australia, and people are upside down, or in different parts of the planet, we're sideways. We're walking. We're sideways as we,
like Inception.
Do you believe that planes are landing on moving runways? Why can't I go up in a helicopter for an hour if the world is spinning? Why can't I hover for an hour and come back down and be somewhere else?
That makes sense. It does, but this is what I heard. I was talking to a former fighter pilot, and they get up to 50,000 feet. Like 20,000 something more feet. And I said, do you see the curvature of the earth? He says, yes, we do.
He's lying to you. He's a Mason. I guarantee it.
Damn.
I guarantee you this guy is a Mason.
Really?
Because I have footage where as high as you go, you always see a level plane.
Really?
You always see a level plane. As high as the observer goes, there is always a level plane. There is no curvature. There should be, by Pythagorean's theory, right? There should be 8 inches of curvature per square mile. Visible curvature that you see.
Damn.
We do not see such curvature, sir. This is some bull that they use to create, basically to take God out of the equation. So let me ask you something.
Yes.
The Big Bang Theory. When's the last time an explosion, which usually destroys things, created something?
Billions of years ago.
No, because that's what they told
us, right. That's
when can I do an experiment? Right now, they're doing a Hadron Collider trying to find the God particle because they're trying to find creation out of destruction, and you never will because there was a lie.
How did is the solar system real? Do we have planets or is it bull?
It's bull.
Because
let me tell you this.
What do we got? What do we got? Thank you, Mecca. Thank you, Mecca.
Flat power. All my flat panthers out there, peace to you. You will never see Europe from New York City. You know why? Because there's a thing called atmosphere. And atmosphere acts like a glass. It only allows you to see but so far.
Yeah, that don't make sense. Okay? As far as way anyway.
You can see things that are mad far that you shouldn't be able to see, where it should be under the, first of all, what's it called? A horizon, right?
Yes.
What's the root word of horizon? Horizontal.
Right.
What is horizontal? Straight across.
Yeah.
An airplane. What is a plane? A plane is something that goes straight across.
Yes.
What is sea level? Sea level.
Okay.
None of this says curveizing or, sea curve or,
nautical curve or aqua curve or.
We measure distance in straight miles. We don't measure them in degrees and all of that. We measure them going straight. If you're going south, how come it's not downhill the whole way? And north.
Is he making sense?
He's making sense.
Absolutely. You don't believe there's gravity.
There's density and buoyancy. There's no such thing as gravity.
No such thing as gravity.
The heavier, listen to me. And they will, and if you look it up right now, they'll tell you that gravity is the theory. So
yeah, but
listen to me. No, it's not. No, it's not. Listen to me. There's density and buoyancy.
Okay.
The heavier things will fall to the bottom, and the lighter things will rise to the top. If gravity was real, well, then it has to have intelligence because it's holding down the oceans, which weigh tons, but yet it's allowing bubbles to rise to the top. It's allowing guppies to swim through the ocean. It's allowing birds to fly through the air. Like, that's ridiculous.
How come when you throw a ball up and it comes back down, what is that?
Density.
Density of what?
The ball is heavy, so it's denser than the atmosphere it's in.
Than the air.
If it was something, if you threw it up into a gel, you see what I'm saying? It would get stuck in the gel. Why? Because the gel is more dense than the ball. It's that simple.
But a feather, you go.
The feather is lighter than you.
Right.
But
But does a feather and a light and a bowling ball?
They don't fall.
They fall at the same.
Let's hear what he wants to say.
In a
Of course he did. Because what I'm talking about, if you research it, it's absolutely real. Atmosphere is like different slides of glass.
Okay.
And the farther you go, the more slides of glass it's going to be.
That's atmosphere. So atmosphere is going up and down, not across.
No, he's saying it distorts.
What I'm saying is it distorts your ability to see super far, especially with the human eye.
Well, even if you're in a park, you can only see so damn far.
Right. There's also things called perspective. A lot of people say, oh, look at the sun going over the curve. No, it's not going over the curve. You're just not able to see it with your human eye. If you take a certain lens and you zoom in on the same thing, it will come right back into focus and it will not be going over any type of curve.
What about the moon? When you see the moon and the sun,
at the same time.
And
what would be going on?
There's a part of the moon that's dark and part of the moon that's lit.
Through.
It's what?
You have seen the moon in the daytime and you have seen the blue of the sky straight through the moon. Don't tell me you haven't seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Right. Why are you thinking that the moon is solid if you can see right through it?
So do you not think that planets are round? Planets are not.
He doesn't believe there's planets.
No, I didn't say there's not planets.
Oh, okay.
What I'm saying is a planet, what they told you is a planet, is not the same as what we're on. So first of all, they say all the planets are round. That's not true. all the drawings of planets around. If you actually get footage of real planets taken by a P900 camera,
Well, you said
look that up. Hang on.
Okay.
Hang on.
Yeah.
If you look up the footage of real planets.
Water always find its level and need a container. Just that fact blew my mind. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit and smash the like button for me. Smash the subscribe button, be part of the family. Remember, stay woke, and I'll catch you next time.